Hi, I'm Liam from Saskwatch, and we're with the AU Review at Bluesfest.
We're here at Bluesfest Byron Bay 2013 with Liam from Melbourne Saskwatch. Welcome to Bluesfest.
Mate, how's it going? Thanks for having me.
Really well, really well. I mean, it's pissing down outside.
Yeah.
Very typical for Bluesfest, but the sun was shining just a little bit while you were on the stage before.
Yeah.
How'd the set go?
It was great. It's probably the biggest, if not the biggest and equal biggest crowd we've ever played to, so it's just a bit of a thrill and a pleasure to be here, so it's always great.
Now, I was saying to you before, caught you at Big Sound, Peter Noble saw you in the crowd,
Yeah.
you get booked to play. Is it a bit surreal being here amongst, the Robert Plants, the Paul Simons?
Oh, totally. It's pretty surreal. You're walking down the corridor and it's like Robert Plant walks past you. It's like, oh, yeah. No, it's great. It's such a great atmosphere and get looked after so well, and the crowds are very appreciative, so it's a pretty easy job for us, so yeah.
Well, I got to see a very little bit of your set today, and it looked like you'd won the crowd over incredibly easily. But, I mean, you've done it before. You've played a lot of big shows before. You've played to big crowds before. But I have a feeling that might be one of the biggest, if not the biggest.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I think the only other one that's rivaling is probably Meredith or Golden Plains, but it's just the scale of festival is pretty incredible. You got legends like Robert Plant, Iggy playing last night, and then you've got people like us just starting out, and a lot of other local acts. So it's just a pleasure to sort of be around that sort of incredible talent. Yeah. So
when you're around that sort of talent, I mean, do you kind of see their live show and go, "Ooh, we want to do that"? Especially something like this, where there's a lot of similar bands, which you don't normally get to see.
Yeah, exactly. I guess it's hard not to, we could pinch that or whatever, but I think that's, part of it, just seeing how people approach their live set and reinvent themselves live or, do the same thing. It's just always a good thing to see. So.
Fantastic. And you've got a new single to promote. Do you want to give that a bit of a plug?
Yeah, too easy. It's called I Get Lonely. It's out now. So feel free to purchase it. We've got a tour coming up in April. It's a national tour, so if you want to check out any of the dates, just check out saskwatch.com.au. So.
And you can get the 7-inch for $10 on there as well of the new single.
That's it, yeah, it's a bargain. Yeah.
It certainly is. It's a great track, and you had your debut record come out last year as well. So what's next for you guys? What's the rest of the year holding after your massive April tour?
After the tour, we're heading to Europe again. We've got a couple of festivals and our own sort of shows over there. And then when we get back, we'll be recording a second album. So looking forward to that. So.
Does the European shows come off the back of the success you had at Edinburgh and things like that?
Yeah, it's sort of returning, I guess, to a lot of the places that we went to last year. I guess, keeping up the slog of touring, and which is our favourite thing to do. So it's just a luxury to be able to go back to Europe, especially with 9 people. It's just like financially pretty crushing, but definitely worth it. So
is it something that how do you make that work? I guess is the question.
We've been very fortunate, I guess, with people offering us shows and being generous with budgets, etc. So that's one way that it's been happen to work, and luckily there's a couple of people just because they've liked the music, they've sort of made it happen, so thanks to them, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well, if you've heard their music, seeing them live is the other half of the story. You haven't experienced it until you've seen them live, so make sure you get to their shows in April. Liam, really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us today.
Thanks for having me, it's such a pleasure.